Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic Thursday, wherever you are around the world, whether or not it's morning or good evening. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. And yeah, today is a little bit of a different video. Of course, obviously, sad news came out last night after the game, after Liverpool beat Sheffield by 2-0 about Joel Matip, of course. I think many favourites. Liverpool, is he called a hero, Joel Matip? I'd say so. I'd even say Joel Matip's a Liverpool legend now at this stage as well. But of course, the news did come out yesterday that he has ruptured his ACL, and we're practically just going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what should Liverpool do next. The Liverpool recall certain players. The Liverpool go into the transfer market. And just have a little bit of a conversation about it as well. Let me know all of you are as well in the chat down below. Hopefully everyone is doing well and all good on this Thursday evening. Of course, obviously Palace preview will be tomorrow as well, because again, I think 12:30. I think we're on it Saturday again, which again horrific in that sense as well. But mainly, we're just going to talk about Joel Matip. In today's video will be about a half an hour stream, as always. Anyway, but let's get into the news. And of course, this is the article piece anyway from David Lynch, obviously last night. Obviously, Liverpool journos obviously came out, of course, due to Jurgen Klopp's obviously saying in the press conference, reporting there that Joel Matip has ruptured his ACL, which could mean the end of his Liverpool career, a major blow as he had looked back to his best this season. Of course, again, has majorly kept out Ibu Konate. Obviously, I know Ibu, I did it before then, had a very, very good start, to the season before he got injured, and then obviously got injured, and Joel Matip has been alongside Van Dijk, since then. So again, it's one of these ones though as well where he has been brilliant this season, Joel Matip. I think, as David Lynch said there, he's been back to his best, and obviously that helps out, Virgil van Dijk, and also, I think all Liverpool centre-halves have been really good this year. I think obviously Joe Gomez, I think, is most improved player when we did mid-season review. Ibu is Ibu. Again, you guys should know how much I love Ibu Konate, and Konza as well. Obviously, just breaking into the team. But what we've seen of him so far is very, very encouraging. And, Joel Matip's been a part of that, and he'll be a massive miss for the season as well, considering I think Liverpool are in a title race. I think many people think we're in a title race as well. But he is going to be a massive, massive miss for sure for the season as well. But Press is in as well, saying, just turned 18 today. How have you been, Colin? Well, happy birthday, first of all, Press. Hopefully, again, you've had a good day in that sense. But yes, I've been very good. Thank you, mate. I've currently got Newcastle against Everton on the screen right now. And at the minute, it's still 0-0, which I know for certain somebody wishes Newcastle are winning right now as well. But just mainly on Joel Matip, though, I think obviously doesn't look like he's going to be getting a new contract in the summer, which is unfortunate. I think many people will have different thoughts and different opinions on it. For me, personally, I think it's probably the correct decision to let Joel Matip go. Obviously, playing wise, I think that what Liverpool require from a number two centre back alongside Virgil van Dijk, Matip does that perfectly well. And look, he's done that since he's signed for Liverpool. I think up there, him and James Milner, the best ever free signings that we could have got. And to think at the time as well, obviously Joel Matip coming from Schalke, where normally if you play well in the Bundesliga, normally Bayern Munich end up signing you. And that's inevitable. Whoever plays in the Bundesliga. But Joel Matip's been that. He's been phenomenal for Liverpool. Again, we've won Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues thanks to Joel Matip at times as well. And you just look at it and I'm like, playing wise, I don't want Joel Matip to leave. I don't personally, because I think, again, he's a phenomenal defender. But I think this injury highlights how Liverpool oh, sorry, chat, I'm just looking at the Everton game. Has Calvert-Lewin scored? No. Oh, McNeil scored. Oh, bloody hell. That's an absolute, that's a howler from Newcastle today. But for me, with Joel Matip, this injury highlights just Joel Matip's Liverpool career. Again, it's unfortunate. And again, you can't determine injuries. You can't help injuries when they happen. But there's always that little period of, again, Matip will be fit for so many games, then he's injured for a couple of weeks or even months, then back for a pile of games, then injured again, and that's the feeling all the time with Joel Matip. Same with Ibu and even Joe Gomez to an extent. It seems like those three, they always get injured and one of them comes back in straight away, and it's kind of a repeat of what Liverpool do. Obviously now Joel Matip out for the season, which massively puts pressure on Joe Gomez and puts pressure on Ibu Konate. Like for me, like I mentioned last night in the post-match against Sheffield, Ibu and Virgil for me were outstanding. They were brilliant, and that for me, shows, and I think it showed a lot of people that again that partnership is very very solid together. But Ibu needs to stay fit, and that's the major concern I have at centre half at the minute for Liverpool. Is it going to be Virgil van Dijk and he has a new partner next to him each and every single week? And I think Jurgen Klopp will have to take that into consideration as well, where you look at Palace now on the weekend. Does Joe Gomez come back in at centre half? Does he experiment and put Konza next to Virgil van Dijk? In that sense, who knows? But the next couple of weeks is going to be interesting in terms of team rotation. I think quite a lot because again, the centre back area, apart from Van Dijk, I would say is going to be probably the most heavily rotated because Jurgen doesn't want to have Joe Gomez and Ibu out, and obviously Matip being out now for the long run. It's not going to be good for Liverpool, is it, in that sense as well? But let me know your guys' thoughts. Anyway, in the chat down below. Thanks, mate. Being all right. I just thought Pickford done as ACL. Was about to celebrate. I wouldn't celebrate over a player getting injured, but can understand what you mean. Yes, fella. Obviously, Tom's going to be absolutely bouncing off this. Makendo's not going to be happy at all. 1-0 to Everton. The Everton Toffees. As well. If they just, how has he missed that? Almiron, Jesus Christ. Pope would have saved that, to be honest with you. David De Gea potentially as well for Newcastle. It's a huge huge thing. The fact that again they are missing such a big player, Nick Pope, as well. I was like, Almiron missed that again. I've just watched it now. Horrendous miss from Almiron. To be fair, he's been really poor this season as well. Anyway, but in terms of as well, chat, and let me know your guys' thoughts on this as well, because I think it's going to be interesting on for Liverpool. What do they do next in the Joel Matip situation? Do they give him a new year? Do they give him another contract? Do they not sign him a new deal? Now, watching Redman earlier on and listening to Neil Jones, by the sounds of it, Liverpool won't be giving Joel Matip a new deal at the current stage. At this current stage anyway. And I think that goes into a little bit of what happened in the midfield. Like, I think Liverpool don't want to be standing still anymore in terms of, all right, we waited and waited and waited for the midfield rebuild. We paid the price last season. And then bought the new midfield, and again we're fighting for a title. Again, we're in a title race, if you want to call it that anyway. And that's what I think Liverpool might be thinking about. They might be thinking, well, we held off the trigger in the midfield, and look how much it cost us. If we was to do that in the defense, could that have the same sort of effect? And I think with Joel Matip, I think he's 32, I think, or 31, 32. Again, injuries are a massive thing in football. And again, we don't know how bad it's going to be. It's a ruptured ACL. He's going to be out for, I think, 8 months. I think the earliest I think he could be back is 8 months. And when you look at it like that, it's even when we look at players like Thiago, for example. Should Thiago Alcantara get a new contract for Liverpool? No, because he hasn't played. The same with Joel Matip. I love Joel Matip. I think he's like I said, he's a brilliant defender, but he plays for a big period and then injured then for the most of it. Um, and for Liverpool, what does that mean? Do we recall people like like Nat Phillips, for example? Like, again, Nat Phillips out in Celtic at the minute. I believe it's a 6-month loan deal. So in January we'll get reviews for Nat Phillips, but do Liverpool bring him back? Do they bring Joel Matip back? Do they bring Nat Phillips back from Celtic? And then he's then the fourth choice centre off for Liverpool with, Joe Gomez, Ibu, Konza ahead of him. And then, Nat Phillips then is the next choice. That's obviously an option. People like Reece Williams as well is also an option. I believe he's currently out in Aberdeen as well. So Liverpool could do that. Or the other option is, because there is an international spot left in the squad for transfers, do Liverpool bring in a centre half? Do they push plans forwards a whole 6 months like we've seen with Lucho Diaz and of course Cody Gakpo? Do they do that type of situation where they could bring in somebody like Inacio that we know Liverpool have followed for a very, very long time? Obviously, he does have a release clause, I believe, starting next summer, which will be 60 million euros. Obviously, it was a lot lower last season and we didn't activate it then. So, could Liverpool switch Konza to a right-sided centre-back and then, buy that left-sided centre-back then for cover? I think with Inacio, it's a bit different, because if Liverpool was to buy somebody like him, you're buying him to start week in, week out. You're not spending 50 million, 60 million on a third or fourth choice, defender in that sense, as well as Everton just gone 2-0 up as well. Jesus Christ. But you're not going to be doing that, chat, are you? You're not going to be. Liverpool don't buy 60 million pound players to be to be on the bench or be fourth choice centre half. I think that's the real problem Liverpool have at the moment, because if you're a defender and you're looking at Liverpool, and you're on the left hand side, you're not getting ahead of Virgil van Dijk. And are Liverpool going to play a centre back at left back? Probably not. Even though I think for build-up play, I think Inacio would be perfect for Liverpool. 1,000%, I think he would be. I think if you had a defensive Trent, Ibu, Virgil, and Inacio, and then obviously when Liverpool transition into that box formation, then you've got the three of Inacio, Virgil, and Ibu. I think that's that's an amazing defense to have. And it's also the case of, is there anyone else out there? At the minute, I'd probably say no in terms of what Liverpool need. But it's also what Liverpool want to do. Do Liverpool have an idea that they're not going to go for a left-sided centre-back? Are they going to, go for a right-sided centre-back again to, make that statement alongside Virgil van Dijk? Again, obviously, I know Virgil's out of contract, I think, in 18 months' time. Obviously there's going to be questions of when they renew his contract again. So it's going to be interesting, I think, over the next, the next couple of weeks, especially, and see the links that comes out on what Liverpool do. Because I do think Liverpool will sign a centre back in January. It's just, well, Liverpool will move for a centre back in January, but will Liverpool do will they bring back Nat Phillips, Reece Williams, or do they go out and pursue another centre back? I think that's an interesting question, because it could, they could 100%. But I think at the moment, and the way the transfer market is, especially January, is ridiculous. But if Liverpool, everyone knows Liverpool are going to look for a centre half, and it's going to massively, bump up the price. It will do automatically. And I just hope that Liverpool have an idea of what they want to do. And when, again, we don't let Matip go on a free and then we're like, oh, well, we're going to wait it out, in that sense, because, again, Konza's coming through and this, that, and the other. Like, no, Liverpool need to act upon it. Look at the midfield scenario this time last year, where we were screaming this time last year for a January signing. And then it ended up being Cody Gakpo, which at the time, again, was absolutely amazing. The whole transfer of Cody Gakpo was amazing. But it's also the sense of, again, Liverpool need to make sure the squad is okay and make sure it's ready enough to be fighting week in, week out for everything. Because that's, if Jurgen Klopp, is meaning what he's saying, again, he wants to fight for the Europa League. He wants to fight for the FA Cup. He wants to fight for the League Cup and the Premier League. You need your whole entire squad for that. And at the minute, another injury to Liverpool centre half, and it's not looking good in that sense. Because again, Liverpool, is, say for example, Joe Gomez got injured tomorrow. You've then got Van Dijk, Canate, and Konza, which isn't great to have, is it? Because it's not like as well like last season where you had somebody like Fabinho that could go in that position. Obviously, I know you could potentially put Wataru Endo in that position because again I know he has played centre back and right back before, but it's also one of those situations you don't want to put Wataru Endo in at centre half neither. But I wonder how it feels when you've done your ACL. I don't want to know how it feels to be awfully honest to press. I don't think any of us do. Uncomfortable, I think, is the correct word to use for sure, 1,000%. But yeah, that's the thing though, and I think Virgil spoke about it last night in terms of, again, Virgil knows from experience what it's like, and Joe Gomez in that sense as well. So we, remember Joe Gomez with the England camp, and his knee just blew out, and that was probably the most mysterious injury I think in a Liverpool player's entire history was Joe Gomez. When he went to internationals, because supposedly wasn't in training, it was just, I think, just by himself, and his knee just blew out. But yeah, a ridiculous man. Didn't Gomez do his LCL? I'm not sure if I'm being honest though. He might have done. I think it's the knee. I know he definitely blew his knee out. I know that for a fact. But again, don't know if it's ACL or LCL. I'm not entirely sure. If I'm awfully honest with the press, but again, should Liverpool go out and sign a centre half? Yes, 100%. Will it be Gonzalo Inacio? No, I don't think it would be. I'd love it to be, but I don't think it would be. But obviously, that's the main thing now for Liverpool 2.0 in the summer as well, and it'll probably get mentioned before again the season ends and so on. Liverpool next year will be looking at defensive reinforcement, and whether that be again centre back, DM as well. I think Liverpool are a left-sided centre back that can play in a three and a DM away from being complete in like a first team manner. I think Andy Robertson, I think, while we've had Robbo out as well, I think we've noticed how crucial Robbo is to Liverpool. I know that he got criticised quite a lot with, build up play and rest defence and this and that. But I think we've massively underestimated how valuable Andy Robertson is, even if the system doesn't suit him and doesn't, fit his style. I do think when you watch, the left back role, you watch Costas, you watch Joe Gomez play there. Like last night, for example, I thought Joe Gomez struggled a little bit. I thought he had a decent game, but at certain times after rewatching a bit of the highlights last night, you could tell a little bit where Joe Gomez isn't used to, or isn't regularly, the left back role is a weird role for Joe Gomez, even though he's played there plenty of times, in that sense as well. But it's one of these situations where, again, Liverpool won't spend 40-50 million unless it's a summer target, which again I can't see. Looking at the centre halves at the minute, I can't see Liverpool signing someone for that amount of money. If I'm being honest, I'd like them to, but I just don't think there is a player out there at the minute that again meets the value and also meets the requirements of what Liverpool wants. Because again, you could go out and sign somebody for 60-70 million in January. Liverpool got the money to do it. Like again, we haven't spent barely any of the Caicedo money that was there or thereabouts. If it's the correct player, the correct fit for Liverpool Football Club, we know Liverpool will do the job in trying, sign that player. But again, it massively depends on the circumstances and the price tag, and so many other things as well. But for me, I think Liverpool should look for a centre back in January, 100%. Anyway, but we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Anyway, it was only a quick chat and stream. Anyway, I was going to do a video, pre-recorded, but I thought, you know what, we'll do it live, and that anyway, because we haven't done many lives on the channel lately, anyway. But again, hopefully more of a regular thing. Anyway, only again 20-minute stream, 25-minute stream, to discuss realistically Joel Matip, and again, will it be the end of his Liverpool career? I'm not so sure, if I'm being perfectly honest. But if you listen to all the Liverpool journos, there is not a contract in sight for Joel Matip in the summer, which is sad. But I think it is the right decision. Again, look at the midfield, look at Jordan Henderson, look at Fabinho. Yeah, more so with Hendo. Should Liverpool have given him a new contract back in 2021? No, they shouldn't have. And even looking back at that situation as well, it feels. And I was looking at the reports that came out at the time as well, and there was some saying that again Jordan Henderson might go to a Premier League rival and this, that, and the other. And did Liverpool sign Jordan Henderson to a new contract because they were frightened that someone from the Prem would get him? I'm not entirely sure, but again, it wasn't worth what Liverpool signed up for. Again, got the money for him. Got, what was it, £12 million in the end for Hendo. But again, it was the correct decision to let him go. And I think that's the same thing with Joel Matip. It's unfortunate that we're letting go of a Liverpool legend, but again, it's probably the right time for him to leave the club, because again, injuries is a massive key factor in that regard anyway. But again, main question is, do Liverpool do business in January? I think they at least recall a centre back, and I think that'll be Nat Phillips, because he's done nothing at Celtic under Brendan Rodgers, which is surprising, to be fair, considering the way Brendan Rodgers plays his football. But it's 3-0 Everton. Jesus Christ, Newcastle were absolutely crumbled in the last 10 minutes as well. But yeah, that's a good way to end the stream anyway. But yeah, obviously tomorrow, match preview, Crystal Palace. Hopefully try and get a couple of people on as well. Get your guys' thoughts in the comments as well, and all that lovely stuff as well. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. See you guys later on. Ta-ra.